I'm Joshua Bardwell, and yesterday I posted a video about Betaflight failsafe bug does not exist. And of course, after I posted that video, I got some more feedback from some folks. And one of the people I got feedback from was Sassen from ImmersionRC. And I took a little bit of a jab at ImmersionRC, and I was all in good fun. But I figured if there was any opportunity to let him set the record straight or have his position, then I owed it to them to go ahead and bring him on. And he's here now, and we're gonna talk about what I may have gotten wrong in that video, and what we can all do to be a little bit safer about not getting our fingers cut up, which I think we all agree is a good thing. Sander, thank you for coming.
Sure, no problem.
So, what is it? What is it that I didn't get right in that video?
Well, I think the issue, the underlying issue, is still somewhat obscure. I mean, I've been trying to get, talk to some of the developers and finding a root cause for all this, and I've not been able to. The main thing here is, though, that we've had some tickets in our help system that kind of, illustrate the same issue. And I had a colleague of mine during an event last weekend, basically gotten his fingers cut up after powering up his quad while leaving his radio unpowered. And that kind of instigated all this because I wanted to get to the bottom of this, or at least get the warning out to people that this is something that may happen if you're running this particular build of Betaflight.
What it seems like you're saying is that you had the Facebook post where you raised the issue, and the Facebook post linked to GitHub, and the GitHub page you linked to then said, oh, hey, this at one issue, and they linked, there's kind of a chain here. But what you're saying is that the issue that was linked to by the Betaflight GitHub, and that I referenced in my original video, where the guy unplugged his receiver and he had failsafe disabled, you're saying that actually is not what happened to your guy.
No, definitely not. And I'm not sure whether the two are related, but I just wanted to basically put that in there for people to have a reference to go by, so they would at least know that this is one instance where this might happen. I'm pretty sure, well, actually not pretty sure, I am 100% sure that is not what happened over the weekend. I mean, I took my buddy's quad back to the office and taken a look at it. And he's just got a bone stock Betaflight configuration, just standard arm switch, nothing funny, no disabling of failsafe or anything like that. And unfortunately, I've not been able to reproduce the same thing here. Otherwise, I would have been able to at least give you a bit more info on that. And unfortunately, I mean, I've tried at least 100 times plugging in the battery, different configurations, and couldn't reproduce it, unfortunately.
And I guess we could ask the question, I mean, we're saying that maybe it's related to having air mode as a mode versus a feature. Your hypothesis is that if you have air mode as a feature, it seems more likely to happen, but if you have air mode as a mode, you think it's less likely to happen. But without the ability to reproduce it, it's hard to be sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after talking to a bunch of people, one of which is a Betaflight developer, they kind of suggested that as being a possible fix for this. So I'm like, okay, if this is reduces your chances of getting your fingers cut up, then by all means use that. I mean, I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, and for reference, air mode is a mode versus air mode as a feature. When it's a feature, it's on all the time. When it's a mode, it's on, well, if you go ahead and just move those sliders out to the edges of the band, then it's on all the time. And essentially, from the user's perspective, the functionality is the same. So if there is a possibility that it's safer to use it as a mode, there's no downside. And anytime anybody's fingers are getting cut up, of course, we all start looking around and trying to find a cause. But in fact, it seems like there's not a lot of hard data here.
No, and the other thing is, it was an event, and you know how that goes. A lot of people are powering up their radios. There's people flying. Who knows what happened? Maybe there's some interference somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't reproduce it. I have no clue what exactly happened, but everything points to something like this. And after talking to some of the people that are in the know about Betaflight and the source code behind it, they said, okay, this is something that we think might be happening here. So by all means, put air mode on a switch. Don't have it enabled at all times.
Okay. And the Betaflight guys, of course, are not on the call, but so, you know, we could certainly, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but there's certainly no downside to putting it on a mode versus a feature. Yeah. Maybe it's worth doing.
I've seen no downsides to using that. I mean, there were some comments earlier on Facebook from other people, basically stating that if you put it on a switch, is actually not as effective as it is when you use it as a feature. And I'm like, it's still the same.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, okay, well, good. If there's anything we can do to be safer, it's certainly worth doing, and it's worth keeping in mind that as much effort and a lot of effort is put into making sure these things are safe. That these, at the end of the day, these aren't freaking Boeing aircraft, and especially because we have additional variables in here. Betaflight is one variable. Certainly, the flight controller is another variable, and the ESCs are another variable, and so
Yeah.
the inability to reproduce it is certainly a lot of different things that could be coming into play here. I know that I run air mode as a feature on all my quads, and more often than I'd like to admit, I plug in the battery and I go put my goggles on and I go to fly, and I'm like, why isn't it arming? And it's that I haven't powered my transmitter on yet. I know you said that you also run air mode as a feature. You've never run into this, but if there's 10,000 people who are flying and two of them get their fingers cut up because of some weird edge case, if there's anything we can do, if there's no downside to running air mode as a mode, maybe we should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, why
Okay.
not?
Okay.
It's I think safety is the main thing here. I mean,
Yep.
I've had a few instances of my fingers getting cut up by my own
Yeah.
mistake, and I'd
Yeah.
rather avoid doing that again.
Yeah. And if there's, I know it's hard to do sometimes on quads being as small as they are, but if there's any way we can like plug in the battery without sticking your fingers in the props, it's not a bad idea. You never know, no matter how careful you are. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah. I
right.
mean, same with configuring stuff. I mean, I usually I'm too lazy to take the props off. So what happens? I take a towel, throw it out over the quad.
I use a smoke stopper. I use a smoke stopper on the bench, and it saved me before. I will say that, and this was a long time ago, and it was on a beta build, so don't take this as anything. But there used to be a scenario where if you hit save configuration and the battery was plugged in, when the board rebooted, the motors would blip. What you're saying is not like it rings a bell. You're not crazy. And I know that I remember that the Betaflight devs changed a timer so that when the board rebooted, it would wait a little bit longer to start sending the throttle signal or something like that, and then
Yeah,
everything was fine. So it's not completely crazy what you're reporting. It's a shame we can't reproduce it. But yeah, okay.
yeah. I mean, I would have been really happy if I could say, okay, this and this is what's required to basically get the same effect. And I've been able to. I mean, if anybody in the community knows anything that we should know about how to basically reproduce this, then by all means speak up, let us know, and at least we can get to the root cause of all this.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I definitely, I know I took a little bit of a jab at you, and I got so carried away with that bat. I had the idea to make that Bat Boy thing, and then I just got so carried away, just laughing my ass off the whole time. But at the end of the day, I think we're all in the interested in the same thing, which is having a good time and being safe.
Yeah, I think especially the safe part is paramount here. I mean, we just all want to be safe. You don't want to go home with your fingers cut up. I mean, if your quad is in a million pieces, that's just fine. But having cuts in your fingers is just
Yeah.
an all.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're busy. I'll let you go. Bye bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.